exploring the most unusual practices of ancient Egyptians. When we think of ancient Egypt, images of pyramids, mummies, hieroglyphs, the Nile River, and elegant cat statues come to mind. However, the history of ancient Egypt is rich with unique and fascinating practices beyond these well-known symbols. Get ready to uncover some of the most bizarre and intriguing customs that reveal just how innovative and extraordinary this ancient civilization truly was. 1. Baboons as law enforcers. While cats were sacred in ancient Egypt, baboons also played an essential role in society. Egyptians trained baboons to assist in law enforcement, using them to catch criminals. Hieroglyphs and artworks from the 5th dynasty circa 2 for 9-8 to 3 for 5 BC show baboons capturing thieves or holding them by the leg. These intelligent creatures were also trained to perform various tasks, including collecting fruits and brewing beer. According to the British Museum, baboons were not only practical, but also held a revered place in Egyptian culture. 2. Mummification of crocodiles. Ancient Egyptians didn't only mummify humans. They also mummified animals, particularly crocodiles. This practice was linked to the worship of Symbolic, the crocodile god associated with the Nile and fertility. In 2019, archaeologists uncovered mummified crocodiles in a tomb near the Nile, preserved without the use of resin. The Smithsonian Magazine reports that these animals were likely offered as sacred gifts to deities. 3. Innovative oral hygiene. Oral hygiene was important to the Egyptians, who used a mixture of burnt eggshells, bull hooves, and pumice to clean their teeth. This method, while mechanically effective, often caused gum bleeding. Additionally, they invented early toothbrushes made from branches, known as chew sticks, and used mixtures of herbs and spices to freshen their breath. This early dental care is discussed in detail in publications by the Journal of Archaeological Science. 4. Mourning cats with shaved eyebrows. Cats were highly valued in ancient Egyptian society for bringing good luck. When a family cat died, members would shave their eyebrows and mourn until their eyebrows grew back. This practice emphasized the deep bond and reverence Egyptians had for their feline companions, as described by the Metropolitan Museum of Art. 5. Cleopatra's beauty secret, sour milk baths. Cleopatra famously bathed in sour milk, particularly donkey milk, to maintain her skin's youthful appearance. The lactic acid in the milk acted as an exfoliant, promoting smoother skin. Historical accounts suggest she required milk from 7,000 donkeys for her baths. Modern dermatology acknowledges the benefits of lactic acid, which supports the historical efficacy of this practice source, National Institutes of Health. 6. Healing with moldy bread. Using moldy bread to treat wounds might seem strange, but it was an effective method due to the presence of antibacterial compounds. This practice was a precursor to the discovery of penicillin. The American Society for Microbiology notes that the mold on bread produced substances that killed bacteria, highlighting the ingenuity of Egyptian medical practices. 7. Hatshepsut's fake beard. To assert her authority, Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs, wore a fake beard. This helped her gain the respect typically reserved for male rulers. The Brooklyn Museum discusses how her reign marked significant achievements and highlights the challenges she faced due to her gender. 8. Talismanic mouse bones for children. Ancient Egyptians believed in the protective power of mouse bones. Mothers would consume a mouse and then place the bones in a pouch around their child's neck to ward off illness. This practice underscores the Egyptians' use of amulets and charms for protection, as detailed by the University College London's Petrie Museum. 9. Canopic jars for organ preservation. During mummification, Egyptians used canopic jars to store vital organs. Each jar was dedicated to a specific organ and associated deity. The heart, believed to be the seat of the soul, remained in the body. The British Museum provides extensive information on these jars and their symbolic significance. 10. Extended reign of Pharaoh Pepi II. King Pepi II reportedly ruled for an extraordinary 90 years, ascending the throne as a child. However, some historians suggest a 64-year reign instead. His long rule is debated among Egyptologists, but it's widely recognized that he significantly impacted the Old Kingdom period source, Ancient History Encyclopedia. 11. Tattoos as protective symbols. Tattooing was a common practice among ancient Egyptians, particularly among women. Tattoos often consisted of dots and swirls on the lower abdomen, believed to offer protection during pregnancy. This practice is explored in detail by the University of Oxford's Griffith Institute. 12. Beer and bread as currency. Bread and beer were not just staple foods, but also used as currency in ancient Egypt. Workers, including those who built the pyramids, were often paid in these commodities. This practice underscores the importance of these items in daily life and religious offerings. 13. Toilets in tombs. Believing that the dead needed the same comforts as the living, Egyptians included toilets in tombs. This ensured that the deceased could maintain a semblance of their earthly habits in the afterlife, as explained by the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology. 14. Pharaoh's sacred hair. Pharaoh's hair was considered sacred and was always covered with a crown or headgear called the nenus. This practice distinguished them from common people and emphasized their divine status. The BBC's documentary series on ancient Egypt highlights this unique cultural aspect. 15. Symbolic enemy sandals. King Tutankhamun wore sandals with depictions of his enemies on the soles, symbolically trampling them. This practice demonstrated his dominance and was a psychological tactic to assert power. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities provides insights into such artifacts. 16. Vowel-less hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs, one of the oldest writing systems, contain only consonants. The absence of vowels means the exact pronunciation of ancient Egyptian words remains a mystery. According to the British Museum, occasional use of the letter E hints at how some words might have sounded. 17. Sacred scarab beetles. Scarab beetles were considered sacred due to their life cycle, symbolizing regeneration and transformation. They were associated with the sun god Ra and featured prominently in jewelry and amulets. National Geographic offers extensive coverage on the symbolism of scarabs. 18. Fashionable flyswatters from giraffe tails. Flyswatters made from giraffe tails were both functional and fashionable in ancient Egypt. Giraffes' natural tail movement to ward off insects was mimicked in these tools. This practice is noted in the British Museum's artifacts collection. 19. Exotic pets beyond cats. Besides cats, Egyptians kept various exotic pets including baboons, hawks, and even lions. These animals symbolized power and were often depicted in art and sculpture. The American Research Center in Egypt provides details on this aspect of Egyptian life. 20. Models of servants in Pharaohs' tombs. To serve them in the afterlife, pharaohs were buried with miniature models of servants called Hatshepsut. These figures were believed to perform tasks on behalf of the deceased. The Smithsonian Institution discusses the significance and use of Hatshepsut in detail. 21. Tears of Isis and the Nile's flood. Egyptians believed the annual flooding of the Nile was caused by the tears of Isis mourning her husband Osiris. This myth was celebrated with festivals and offerings. This tradition is still remembered in modern Egyptian culture source, Encyclopedia Britannica. 22. Protective loincloths. Men wore loincloths to protect themselves from the sun and diseases. These garments were also believed to ward off evil spirits and were dyed in various colors for attractiveness. The Journal of the American Research Center in Egypt explores these protective measures. 23. Incestuous royal marriages. To maintain pure bloodlines, royal families often practiced incestuous marriages. This led to genetic issues, as seen in King Tutankhamun's congenital defects. The New England Journal of Medicine discusses the genetic consequences of such practices. 24. Servants covered in honey. Pharaoh Pepi II detested flies and had his servants covered in honey to attract insects away from him. This peculiar demand highlights the extremes of royal privilege. The British Museum's exhibit on Pepi II details his reign and eccentricities. 25. Mummification and extensive wrapping. Mummification involved wrapping bodies in over 1.5 kilometers of cloth to preserve them for the afterlife. This elaborate process was reserved for the wealthy and powerful. The University of Manchester study on mummification techniques provides in-depth insights. Uncovering these unusual practices gives us a deeper understanding of the creativity and resourcefulness of the ancient Egyptians. Their innovations and traditions continue to fascinate and inspire us today. If you found these insights fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your engagement is the best reward for us. Thank you for watching, stay curious, and see you in the next exploration. Goodbye.